Hi, good morning everybody. How are you? My name is attorney Charles Zavala. I'm an immigration lawyer located here in Houston, Texas, but we can help you no matter where your case is in the USA. So today I have a video regarding how to get your green card through marriage. I'm actually going to answer mostly the top 5 questions I usually get when they're asked about this. So if you think this is helpful, feel free to share it, like it. You can follow us, subscribe us on all the social medias down here, because we'll usually do videos relating to immigration or topics that people have asked me. Okay, so today's video has to do with top 5 questions. Well, I don't want to say top 5, but these 5 questions that I get asked are commonly asked questions when it has to do with getting your green card through marriage. So let me just give you a quick little overview. If you are married to a US citizen or a legal permanent resident, also known as a green card holder, you may be eligible to get your green card through that marriage, right? That's just kind of, it's allowed in the rules, it's part of the laws. The thing is, you have to go through paperwork, you have to go through process to do that. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain it a little bit. It could be a little bit confusing, but that's kind of everything until you get familiar with it. So the number one question, I'm sorry, not number one question, but the first question is this. What is the process of applying for a green card through marriage to a US citizen or legal permanent resident, right? So the first thing to do to get a green card through marriage is you have to be married, right? That's the first thing. If you are not married, you will not be able to apply for the green card. There are some things called like a fiance visa, which is before you get married, and I'll make another video about that, and that could be an option. But step number 1 is you have to get married, and then once you're married, you then have to go through the legal process with USCIS. That is United States Customs Immigration Services. That is the government agency that is in charge of 80% of immigration paperwork, right? So you have to go through their process. So you have to file a bunch of different applications with them. Most importantly is one called the I-130 petition. This is going to establish that you are married to them and it is a legal bona fide marriage. After that, there's other applications you're going to have to do, like the I-485 adjustment of status. We also suggest you do an I-765 for a work permit, I-131, which is for a travel permit. You'll also have to do an I-864, which is called an affidavit of support. But all those are going to be part of your application when you apply for your green card through marriage. It could be a little different depending on if you're in the country or out of the country and whether you're married to a citizen or resident, but those are going to be kind of the general answers, okay? Second question I got asked is, what documents are needed for the green card application process and how can they be obtained? Okay, so let's dial it back, right? So if we are applying for a green card through marriage, first thing you got to do is you got to show that you're married, right? So how do you do that? Marriage certificate. You know, it could be one in the USA, it could be one in another country. As long as it's a valid marriage certificate in the country it happened in, you're okay. After that, though, you're going to have to show that not only are you married, but that you are what's called a bona fide relationship, that you guys aren't just getting married for immigration reasons, right? So the way you can do that is lots of ways. You can show joint bank statements, joint insurance. You can show y'all have children together, that y'all live together, things that married couples tend to do, cohabitating, right? What you're also going to have to do is you're going to have to show finances. The government wants to know that the U.S. citizen or resident makes enough money to be able to support their spouse who's coming in. If for whatever reason you can't show that you make enough money, then it's possible to get what's called a co-sponsor. That means you can get a friend, family member, someone who has a status, and they could be your co-sponsor. Okay, so that's question number 2. Question number 3 says, how long does the green card application take? Okay, so this is going to depend on 2 things, whether you are in the country or you are outside the country. If you are inside the country, you know, and you enter legally and maybe just overstayed or you're still here legally, I used to tell my clients that it's taking about 12 months to 16 months. However, recently we've been having cases approved within 6 months, right? Which is fantastic because it just shortens the timeline. However, I don't want to promise or guarantee that because I don't have control over it. It all has to do with how USCIS is processing it. And what's really neat is USCIS has a website where you can go and you can actually check the processing times of those cases to get a general idea. okay? The other example is if you're outside the country, it's going to take a little longer because we have to do first what's called the I-130 petition. Once that gets approved, then we have to do the process at the consulate. So that one's going to take a little bit longer, but yes, it still can be done. All right, question number 4 says, what are the requirements for eligibility for a green card through marriage, and what factors can impact the application? Okay, so requirement is, remember, you have to be married to a U.S. citizen or resident. Another thing that's very important is you can't have any immigration penalties, because if you do, we're going to have to get what's called waivers for you, right? We have to get the government to forgive your immigration consequences, and that's going to depend on what immigration consequences you have, and I 100% suggest you call a lawyer to discuss that. There tends to be 3 main waivers: an I-601A, an I-601, and an I-212, but talk to your lawyer about that. And then next, what factors? If you have criminal history, right? I mean, kind of the basic stuff. If you have criminal history, we need to look if you're still eligible. 2, we need to find out if you have immigration consequences. And then 3, remember, you have to be married to a U.S. citizen or a resident to qualify. That's what gets you through the door, all right? And then the last question says, what are the rights and responsibilities of a green card holder, and what are the steps to becoming a citizen after obtaining a green card? Great question. So normally what happens is once you get your green card through marriage, the green card is valid for 10 years. But usually what happens is your first time getting a green card through marriage, they only give you what's called a conditional green card, which means that your green card is only valid for 2 years. And the reason why is because after those 2 years, they want to make sure that you are still married to your spouse. And the reason why they do this is to make sure that there isn't any fraud going on, or that you didn't marry just to get a green card. So that is going to be a responsibility. You are not supposed to, but remain married to your partner. If you're no longer married, that's okay. There are exceptions to the rule, but we'll have to discuss that. Responsibilities of a green card holder is you have to renew your green card, right? So it's usually valid for 2 years, and then you'll have to remove those conditions, which is what's called an I-751 form, as you get close to 2 years. And once they approve that, they give you your green card for 10 years. It is your responsibility to make sure that card doesn't expire. And if it's getting close to expiring, all you have to do is renewing it. So then the second part to that question is, how do you become a citizen after a green card? There's 2 ways of doing it. If you are still married to your U.S. citizen spouse, you only have to wait 3 years from the moment you got your first green card, and then you can apply for citizenship. If you are no longer married, or if you got your green card through any other way, all you have to do is wait 5 years of being a resident green card holder, and then you can apply for a U.S. citizen. Okay, so I hope these questions helped. These are common questions, and I think they're great questions to ask. So if you or anybody you know is married to a citizen or married to a resident and you're trying to get your green card status, please give us a call. We have a lot of experience handling these cases all over the USA, even if you're international. Just call this phone number on the screen. Every appointment is going to be with me on the phone, so we'll be able to assist you with any way we can. And if you have any questions relating to anything immigration, please feel free to give me a call. My name is Charles Zavala. We're here based in Houston, Texas, and our law firm is called Zavala Texas Law. Thank you and have a beautiful day.